Today's interview is with Bryceson Tolle. Bryson grew up with a trawl in his hand, and today he owns his own business. So we get into how he went from an employee to a business owner. We also get into and discuss a lot about gauged porcelain tile panels, something that he is getting into in a large way. So check out this episode to learn more about the training that Adam Christensen and the Tile Nation have to offer for you if you are interested in GPTP and what this can do for your business. To another episode of the Tile Money Podcast. My name is Luke Miller, your host, and my mission with this podcast is to strengthen the tile industry. I believe that we are doing this, and we can continue to do this with business discussions and education designed for contractors by contractors. Tile Money is assisting tile contractors around the world to build profitable, sustainable businesses. The result is a stronger industry from the installer up. Today we've got another great discussion lined up for you with Bryson. But before we get to it, I want to thank the sponsors of the show. The NTCA is one of your most valuable resources as a tile contractor. They are the oldest and the largest association for tile contractors. They can help to answer any questions that you have, whether you are looking for the solutions to complicated problems in the field, an introduction to an expert in a specific field of tile, or whatever the case might be. The NTCA has your back. The members are some of the most profitable and professional tile contractors I know. Join for the camaraderie and community. Talk to Jim Olson today to learn more about what the NTCA can do for you and your business. Laticrete International, another sponsor of ours. They are one of the leading innovators in the tile and stone materials world. They're literally credited with inventing thinset and winning the World Trade Center contract for providing that lightweight solution so that they could build the world's tallest buildings at the time. A family-run, privately held company with family values that you can feel, whether you're talking to the reps in the field all the way up to the family members who are still working in the business. Laticrete provides everything you need to install tile, from the waterproofing to the grout and silicone. It is a one-stop manufacturing company. GoBoard. GoBoard is an innovative tile backer board manufactured by Johns Manville, and discover the possibilities with this easy to cut and easy to handle waterproof product. It's lightweight yet very durable. You can carry a bunch of boards in one trip. You can seal the joints and fastener penetrations using GoBoard Pro Sealant to achieve ANSI A118.1 compliant installations. GoBoard Pro Sealant is now available in 20-ounce sausage packs. Ask your distributor to bring them in. Learn more at jm.com/GoBoard, and HappyTileGuy.com is a business I'm a co-owner in. HappyTileGuy.com is where tile contractors are getting professional websites built, fully search engine optimized, ready for lead generation, and that is your online hub for your business. Without further ado, let's get to the interview. So thanks for taking the time out, Bryson, to come on the Tile Money Podcast. I appreciate you doing that. From what I understand, you've got some big things going on and some real recent expansion in your business, so we want to dive into that for sure. Why don't you introduce yourself, give us the 10,000-foot overview of who you are and where you're at and what you do.
My name's Bryceson Tolle. I own and operate A&B Surfaces here in Wichita, Kansas. I'm a second-generation tile setter. Mm-hmm. Been doing it since I was a kid. My dad drugged me to work and kind of just trained me up, and I took off with it. So
did your dad own his own company, or was he a union man, or how did all that work?
No, so we don't have a tile union here.
Mm-hmm.
My dad worked for another man. Never really ventured out on his own. Did a lot of side jobs and things like that.
Sure.
But never really ran his own company. When I turned 17, I ended up working for that same guy, kind of just as a helper underneath my dad. My dad passed away 11 years ago today. Mm-hmm. And I continued to work for that same contractor and for another 5 years, I think. And I just decided that, I wanted to build something for myself. I wanted to make a name for myself. So I ventured out, and it's went pretty well. So
Nice. So you've been in business roughly 6 years.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. Was that a hard decision? I mean, here you were, a second generation employee for one company. I mean, you must have been pretty comfortable at that company. I would imagine they're treating you well and everything, and some security, right? So that must
Oh,
have been kind of a
definitely.
leap of faith, or how did you approach that?
Yes. I was very comfortable where I was at.
Mm.
You're right. He treated me very well. Um, and when I had the conversation with him, I wanted him to understand that it wasn't the money. It wasn't, I felt like I needed treated better. It was just the fact that I wanted to build something for myself. I wanted to build something that I could hand down to my kids,
Mm.
and continue this thing. So, and I still talk to him. I still have a pretty good relationship with him. He's somewhat of a mentor to me. Um, so, it was very. I was very nervous making the leap,
Mm.
um, because I pretty much learned everything on the fly. I would ask around other tile contractors or other just people in the construction industry, for advice, and I would just take little bits from each one of them and kind of put my own puzzle together. So
For the business side of things, you mean?
correct, yes, for the
Yeah.
business side.
And it's great you were able to retain that relationship with your previous employer. I'm sure you've been able to kind of gain some knowledge in conversations afterwards and retain that relationship, it sounds like, a little bit.
Oh, definitely,
That's
definitely.
great. That's really, really smart. Tell me, your father was obviously in the trade. You're in the trade. Do you have other brothers and sisters who are still in the trade, or how did that all work? I
I,
know
I
I'm
have
going
another
backwards a
brother
little
and a
bit.
I have another brother and a sister. They're not in the trade.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was kind of the one, uh, that my dad drug to work. It wasn't much of an option. It
Mm-hmm.
was, every day after school you had to go to work with him. Every weekend, every day during the summer. And I started out, grouting. I think I was grouting by the age of 12,
Mm-hmm.
and making cuts. And on the days that he didn't have anything for me to really do, he would give me a board, with some leftover tile and have me tile the board.
Yeah.
Um, then come out and pick apart my work, and have me tear it off and redo it. And at the time, I didn't understand that he was giving me a skill. I thought it was just work. Of course, I wanted to be playing with my friends, or I wanted to,
Yeah.
go home, watch TV, or play video games. But today, I'm very thankful for what he's taught me. So,
I bet. I bet. No, it sounds like you were on the advanced program to, to your apprenticeship. It's like not a not a moment wasted, I remember
definitely.
as an apprentice, there's just lost time, count. And I guess I shouldn't be too hard on it, because a lot of times you're just looking and paying attention and absorbing things. But I like this fact that, hey, we're going to, I'm not going to need you for 4 hours. Why don't you go tile this board and give it your best shot? That's cool.
Right.
That's
Right.
cool. I like that. That's a good idea. Um, so, so about 6 years ago, you decide I'm gonna venture out. I'm gonna become an entrepreneur and a business owner, and you've
Right.
already got a decade or 2 decades of experience under your belt in the tile installation world. So obviously, you didn't need any help there, right? I mean,
Right.
or we're always learning, but you had you
Yeah.
had your foundation set. I mean, you're on your way. You're
Exactly.
a
Exactly.
journeyman installer. But how was the business transition? What's been the thing that most surprised you about being, making that transition into a business owner?
Going into it, I was real nervous about the tax situation. I went from having a paycheck where taxes were deducted, possibly getting a refund each year, into knowing that I have to put money aside to pay my taxes. I've got to be a little more responsible. So what ended up being, I would say, the biggest thing that I had to learn was managing my time. Because I went from calling, my boss to say, where do you want me to go today, to now I have to go measure the jobs, bid the jobs, do the jobs. And I really had to learn how to manage my time better. And I'm still learning to this day of, better ways of doing that. So.
Yeah, for sure. You're wearing a lot more hats. That's for sure. Management of time. That's something, like you say, we all struggle with that, I think. And
Right.
it can be overwhelming because, like in your first 6 years, like you said, you're not only selling the jobs, lining them up, scheduling, you're installing them, you've got payroll, you've got, employee management, and all these different hats to wear. It does get overwhelming. What surprised you and been like, well, that wasn't as hard as I thought? Have you had any of those wins where it was like an easy layup, or something where you're just like, man, that's surprising. I'm glad that, I put those fears aside. Has there been any moments like that?
Well, definitely. When I first ventured out, I lined up a month's worth of work, and I figured in that next month I would, find my next month's worth of work.
Sure.
And I really started off just doing remodel, smaller jobs, shower installs, backsplashes, things like that. And then I started getting phone calls of larger projects, and that's when I decided I needed to hire an employee. So I went and hired an employee. I then started, I've always prided myself on quality, so I started getting more calls, for more work. So I then hired another employee. I'm up to 5 employees now.
Nice.
And I've really transferred into the new construction, the higher end new construction here. And I really wasn't expecting to go that route. It just kind of went that way, and
Sure.
I took it and ran with it. So.
Is that new construction spec homes or custom built homes?
They're custom. 90% of what we do are custom. I have a builder here. I do all of his work. He doesn't build anything less than $1 million. His average home is about $2.5 million. So they're larger projects. And I still have a little bit of remodel work that I do. Just because I don't like having all my eggs in one basket.
Smart. Yeah.
I like to, have a little bit here and there, because
Yeah.
you never know, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
No, this is a really smart move on your part. Good job doing that, splitting up the work a little bit. And if you know how to sell to homeowners for remodel work, you'll probably never be hungry, because during the lean years, the builder work dries up typically.
Right.
Depending on, of course, circumstances, but traditionally that's, very easy to go by the wayside quicker. Getting into builder work, I mean, obviously it's been boom years these last 6 years, so that's been a plus for you as well.
Right.
But traditionally, builders will have, their subcontractors lined up for years and relationships developed. How did you start breaking into that? Was it strictly your reputation, or what kind of upsells or what kind of value have you brought them to, hire Bryson and company to install their tile?
Well, I definitely started building a good reputation for myself. And I believe that my quality speaks for itself. So, for example, I had one builder contact me, to do some work for him on his personal house. He was building his personal house. He liked my work so much, he then started, shipping more houses my way. And Wichita's somewhat of a small city.
Okay.
Compared to other places, but so word travels pretty quickly. And when one builder, gets a hold of you and they start seeing the quality of work, other builders start trying to contact you. So I've had a lot of that in the last couple of years. And unfortunately, I've had to turn quite a bit down just because I don't have the time to take on. And like I tell everyone, I wish I could, but I can't do everyone's style. So
Good. Yeah, no, that's a good marketing technique. Hey, we're exclusive here. We're I mean, and it's true. You're booked up, and it's hard to get you to install the tiles. So that's good. It's good that they saw the value. Hey, whenever you can work in a builder's home, jump on that opportunity. Not only is it a huge compliment, most people, I've done it backwards, where I was working on builders projects and then they saw the quality and invited me into their personal home. You kind of went the opposite approach and it worked out well for you. That's smart.
Right.
That's really cool that worked out like that. That's awesome. So what do you focus on? Just tile, ceramic and porcelain tile, or flooring, or is it just tile, correct? That's what we're talking about here?
Well, I'm probably 85% tile. We do install, LVPs and pre-finished hardwoods, things like that. But I focus more on tile.
Okay.
Tile's kind of my passion.
Yeah.
A lot of these LVPs, I mean, anyone can install them. There's not a whole lot of, pride. I like to step back after I'm done with the project and say, I created this shower, so that's why I try to focus more on tile.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And recently, I'm excited to talk about you're dipping your toes and getting into GPTP. And in fact, I shouldn't say dipping your toes because you're kind of diving into it from the sounds of things. We were introduced from Adam Christensen, who I'm working with on the Tile Nation. And he said, you got to talk to Bryson and talk to him about what he's doing with GPTP ever since he went, you attended Adam's class he held with Schluter. Tell me about, first of all, tell me why you were interested in the class, how you found out about it. Let's get those two things out of the way.
So about 3 years ago, the manager of our local Pro Source called me to do his bathroom. Before this, I didn't do any work with Pro Source or anything like that, but he got my name. The 2 foot by 4 foot, 24 by 48 tiles were just coming around this area at that time, and starting to get popular. I had done a couple projects previous to his. He calls and says, "Hey, I hear you have a little bit of experience with this." A lot of other guys were, I wouldn't say scared to do it, but they weren't comfortable with it. So he asked if I'd be interested in doing his bathroom with these larger format tiles, and I went in. Project turned out amazing. Me and him built a good relationship, and he's always been into the larger tiles. He loves the bigger look. So they were remodeling their showroom here, and he calls and says, "Hey, I have some large format tiles I'm going to need you to install." I said, "Great." He said, "Well, I haven't finished. It's they're 5 foot by 10 foot tiles." I said, "Oh, well, I'm going to have to do some research." And he says, "Well, I've already got you set up to go to a class to learn, if you're willing to go." And I'm always trying to expand my knowledge.
Sure.
There's always something else to learn in this industry. So I was all for it. I hopped in the truck and I drove to Branson. and soaked up as much knowledge as I could.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really taken off since then.
So this that's awesome. So you had this manager who has an eye and is starting to spec GPTP, but he didn't know anybody who could install it. He only knew you because you had done some 24 by 48 inch a few years back, which is what you thought the phone call was for. But no, he already has. I mean, his mind was made up. Gauged Porcelain Tile Panels are the future. And what was his name? The Pro Source Manager, correct?
Yes.
We don't need his name, but he saw the vision and he wants to start carrying this, stocking it, selling it. And so he needs a lead man, which he's decided and already turns to you because he knows your experience, he knows your quality, and he trusts you, which is the most important thing. And he introduces you to a way to get the knowledge that you need. So this was a class hosted by Schluter, correct?
Correct.
And Schluter had hired Adam Christensen to run this class and basically be the class instructor. Was it a 3-day class? I can't remember.
It was a 4-day class, I believe.
A 4-day.
So when we got there, I can't speak for everyone else there, but I knew that I had a project when I got back home.
Right.
That I had to know how to. So
you took it serious. Yeah.
So I took it very serious. Tried to learn as much as I could. And I don't know, some of the guys there may have been there for the free trip or just to experience it. But I was there on a mission, and I knew that I had to install this stuff, and it's went well. So
that's awesome. So had you been to any other Schluter training? Were you using Schluter currently over there? Just as a side note.
I'd been to a couple of their trainings. I wasn't using a lot of Schluter at that time. Since then, I've went to exclusively to Schluter. I learned a lot more about their products as well. So
during that class, yeah.
So since then, I've kind of went exclusively with Schluter.
Sure.
So,
well, you probably the knowledge you picked up there during that 4 days with Adam, as well as, like you said, learning more about the Schluter products, kind of pushed you over the edge and, made the decision there, which is, that's the value of these classes, right?
Definitely.
From all sides. Now, tell me about the training. What was the 4-day training like, specifically when we're talking about the GPTP training? You obviously left feeling comfortable.
I did. I did. Now there was still a lot of things that I just hadn't learned yet, but I felt comfortable enough to take on a project and install this stuff. And it was a very hands-on training. They gave us our own shower mock-up. And when the class started, Adam mentioned to everyone, "Hey, I want you guys to break panels here because I want you to learn from your mistakes here. So when you get out in the field, you know what moves not to make and what steps that you should take and etc." So
did you break some panels?
I think we did break one panel.
All right.
We did break one panel.
Yeah.
And after you break that one panel, and you learn from it, it's a lesson learned. So
how, what kind of fears did you have going in that were quickly lessened with the knowledge that you picked up and gained?
Well, moving them. So when you get there and you see these 5-foot by 10-foot thin tiles, I think we were using 6 millimeter in that training. You're kind of nervous of how you're going to pick these up or how you're going to handle these, how you're going to cut these.
Yeah.
But Adam did great with, walking us through each step and understanding, that you need a partner that you're in sync with, someone that you can almost read each other's moves, and because these things are very fragile, and the logistics of the whole thing is, I think, uh, one of the main things that people just don't understand. It's very important moving these things. So
Yeah, if you can't move them, that's like you said, you're kind of in a rough spot. Did you go with an employee or did you go alone?
no, so I went alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just brought back what knowledge I had. I've recently spoken with Adam, and I'd like to take one of my employees to the next training.
Okay.
That I hear that we have coming up, because I would like them to have some hands-on learning.
Mm-hmm.
Everything they know is just what I brought back to them.
Yeah.
So
And
and there's still a lot of things that I'm learning in it, So
absolutely. Absolutely. It is, that's the thing is there's a lot to learn. The more I learn, the more I understand, how little I know, especially about these new products, right?
right.
And they're constantly evolving and coming out with newer products and more, benefits and advancements. How many people have you, is your whole company trained now? Have they all installed or worked with these tiles?
So our first project, I had everyone kind of hands-on, helping move them. A couple of the guys were just there to help lift them, to help
Mm-hmm.
move them, carry
Mm-hmm.
them. I do have one employee who he's been with me on every panel project we've done. Me and him have installed quite a bit, just the two of us. So he's kind of my, I would say, panel sidekick.
Sure.
Anytime we have a panel job, I definitely make him, he's going to work on my crew that week, or at least the duration of that project. So,
Is that probably who you'll fly out with in February for the Tile Nation advanced training?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, this is smart because once, obviously the more training you get, the better. And then having a key man is going to help you. And then between the two of you, you could literally split up. The next step would be, as the more panels you start installing, you could literally split up and have him be your lead man on one job and you be your lead man. And that's, of course, how, is that the way you're seeing it?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal
Yeah.
moving forward. So
That makes a lot of sense. So how long ago was that schluter class again? I know you said the date, I think. Was it
I think it was
roughly?
a little over a year ago. I think it was a year this past October.
Something like a
Um,
year ago. And so how many panels have you installed? Is this a large part of your business today, a small part?
it's growing into a large part of my business, I'll say. We've done since I got back. I think my first project was the ProSource showroom,
Sure.
and that was in January. So just this year alone, I think we've done six panel jobs. I have 3 more on the books,
Mm-hmm.
and it just continues to, grow here. So.
And that's something you're very happy about, right?
Oh, definitely.
Where's the work coming from? Is there now, of course, it's probably coming from ProSource, right? Is there any other sources of work?
There, ProSource has got me a few jobs. I actually had a couple homeowners contact me, and I've recently started working with a fabricator,
Mm-hmm.
a slab fabricator here, and they've been getting a lot of requests for it. So I've kind of teamed up with them and started doing all their installs. um, One of my builders has really, I put it in his house, and he's really starting to push it. So, it's just really starting to spread here. So I think I went to that training just in the right time.
Yeah.
And it's really benefited me. So,
Is there already other companies installing this at the level you are?
not at the level I am.
Uh-huh.
I think there may be a company or two in the commercial side.
Mm-hmm.
installing it. A funny story, one of the homeowners went up to Kansas City area, seen the stuff, decided she wanted it in her shower. She comes back here, gets my name from our local Dow Tile, and I give her an estimate, and she's a little sticker shocked.
Sure.
So she starts shopping around. So she starts going to some other flooring stores and fabricators, and asking about this stuff. And they all give her the same answer: is we have a guy who installs this stuff. Well, little did she know I was the guy at every store she went to.
Yeah.
So it just kind of circled back around, and
That's
we
awesome.
actually just did that project last week. So
Nice. Congratulations. So yeah, because where's she gonna go? I mean, she's got all
right,
these different recommendations pointing back towards you. That's pretty cool. And she wanted it. She obviously wanted it because she, her desire, pushed through and paid the price. That's now so the homeowners are kind of naturally finding it. They're going to other cities, they may be shopping online and then starting to ask around. So you're going to start getting more and more of that pretty much anywhere you are in the world. Right.
right,
And I love this idea of working with fabricators because I talk to fabricators from time to time. It was never my world, but there's some crossover there, and most of them will tell me like, we don't want it. We're getting sent these jobs. We don't want them. But I think we
yeah,
found an interesting thing here because you said, well, they're getting sent the jobs. They're doing the fabrication, which is actually helping you. And you're picking up the side, the installation, which they don't want anyways. So
right,
this is a mutually beneficial relationship between the fabrication shops, which have all the tools, and the installer. A person just has to set themselves up to be that lead installer, that key person in the area.
right. Yeah, so I seen there was a niche there, and I just kind of attacked the market with it here. Um, and I mean, it's really went well. And just like you said, a lot of these fabricators, they're almost intimidated by the stuff, so
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to mess with it, but they keep getting requests for it. So they reach out to me, and I tell them, if you wanna fabricate the panels, if I'd be more than happy to pick them up and do the installation for you. So that's went real well for me.
So when you say you're really bringing awareness to the market, I forget what you said, but you're pushing it in the area. Are you doing cold calls and just telling people, introducing people to the product, or just letting people know, or is that just kind of happening naturally? A little of
It's
both.
really happening naturally. I have recommended it to a few homeowners. They call me and they have this big fireplace that they just want some cool ideas. And of course, the first thing I want to throw out there are these
Mm-hmm.
gauged
Yeah.
porcelain panels.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fit everyone's budget,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand that. So, but it's always nice to throw the idea out there because you never know who will
Yeah.
just be intrigued by it and really want it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, Yeah, the more we push it and let people know, the more, at least it's a viable option. Starbucks will sell like a $3,000 espresso machine.
right,
Obviously, they don't sell many of them, but when they do, the profit's there. It's an option, right? It's an upsell.
exactly,
Yeah, you got to give people options because you never know. You don't want to impose your budget on your client, right?
right.
That's a good lesson there for sure, for sure. So these panels, what has been the bulk of your work? Showers, floors?
Um, as far as the panels go,
Correct.
um, mostly it's been walls. It's been so we've done two showers now, but we've done four. I want to say four fireplaces.
Hmm.
Fireplaces have been a big one here.
Sure.
Um, I recently did some countertops with some waterfall edges, mitered the edges, and that's been a real wow factor. Awesome pictures. I
Yeah.
love showing it off, and I'm trying to push more of that. Um, but really the fireplaces around here have really taken off. So
Mm-hmm. So these waterfall countertops, and obviously you're mitering, and are you doing the fabricating, or is that the countertop guys, or is that you?
on that particular project, the fabricator did make the miters, and I just picked the pieces up and installed them. So
Nice. That's easy. That's easy money right there.
yeah, yeah.
So did you learn that technique through Adam Christensen, or is that
Um,
something that you and the fabricators kind of just came up with?
oh no, Adam. When it comes to these porcelain panels, I want to say everything I've learned just came from Adam. He's a
Uh-huh.
very knowledgeable guy. Um, and I'll tell you what, anytime I have a question, he's always there to answer the phone and give me any kind of advice that I need. So
Nice. Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I know one of the value propositions, or one of the things we're going to do for Tile Nation is create a group of people who are interested in these discussions, and we'll open, we'll have a town hall, so to speak, where Adam's there every month at this certain time, and we'll answer any questions. We'll probably go through some tips and tricks, and then we'll answer any questions. So that'll be useful for anyone interested in GPTP, of course, and getting your knowledge and retaining it, taking it
Oh
back
yeah.
to the field. That'll be good.
So back to that training.
Mm-hmm.
When we was in the training, we were working with all I believe it was 6 millimeter
Mm-hmm.
product. Um, well, when I got back to do ProSource's showroom, um, I then learned that it was a 12 millimeter product that they ordered,
Mm.
in which we didn't cover much of.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing I did was call Adam,
Sure.
and he walked me through it. So I felt like I had all the confidence in the world of how to install this stuff, and then I get back and it's like this big
Di-
speed bump
Different
of,
product.
oh
Yeah.
crap, he didn't really tell us much about 12 millimeters. So I called him. He picks up the phone and he explained everything to me, and he just built my confidence back up. Um,
Nice.
so yeah, he's been uh, a real key tool to my success in the panels. So
That's awesome. That's really good to hear. And it's not surprising either. I mean, everybody who I've been talking to says similar things about Adam. So, and it's good when, I know he's excited. He was excited we were doing this interview because he sees you actually taking the knowledge and applying it and doing really well for yourself. And that motivates him. So that's incredible and nice that you can, share your experience
oh,
with
definitely.
him as well. Well, where do you think this is going to take your business in the future, in the coming years? I mean, you've been in business 6 years. You're obviously in a good place with your company. You're growing. The demand is there. It's increasing. Do you think you're going to kind of go towards GPTP in a really big way as a company, or will it always be a part of what you offer?
It's the goal is to make it a bigger part of my company. To focus more on that. I I I don't know if it will, but right now I can say that since I started doing these panels, I've had the most profitable year, and I really think that that's been key.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping moving forward that this becomes a big part of my business. Obviously, you can't eliminate all your normal showers and things like
Sure.
that, but I'm looking forward to what the next 5 years brings with these panels. So
Nice, nice. Well, we're looking forward to watching you, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person in February for the first Tile Nation event. If you can
definitely.
if that's the one you were planning on going to, February.
Yes.
Nice,
Yep.
nice, awesome, awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you there, and I want to thank you for your time, Bryson. I know you're at work, so I want to be respectful of that. But thank you for sharing your journey and your story and your knowledge with the Tile Money Nation, That's what I should call it, Tile Money
There we
Nation.
go.
Yeah. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me on, Luke. Like I said, I listen to the podcast quite a bit. It's really helped my business, I believe. So helped me become more profitable, and just learning, new techniques, and that there's always something in this industry that you got to learn. So
yeah, absolutely. Right on. Yeah, my pleasure to have you on, and we'll have you on in the future for sure, because we want to keep checking on your business and keep checking in and see where it's at. This is exciting stuff.
Sounds good.
All right, Bryson. Well, you have a good day.
All right, you too. Thanks, Luke.
Appreciate it. All right, tile friends. Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Bryson as much as I did. What a great guy. I'm truly excited to see where he takes his business. All right, if you want to stay in touch with all things Tile Money and not risk missing out on anything we're doing, the best way to do that is to subscribe to our weekly newsletter. You can do that online, tilemoney.com. Check the show notes for a direct link. If you want to learn more about Tile Nation, you can email me directly, private message, direct message me on social. Email me at luke@tilemoney.com, luke@tilemoney.com. Put Tile Nation in the subject line, and you can always do that just to say hi also. I appreciate you, tile friends. I hope you're having a good week. I hope you're having a good day. Stay positive out there. There's a lot of negative energy. Don't let it get you down, tile friends. Above all else, please stay profitable, tile friends. All right, that's it for me. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.